So your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson came to Uganda in 2017. I was just visiting, and maybe that's some footage playing right now of my first trip. Of course, I look a lot better now, but I enjoyed my stay in Kampala. The mosquitoes were biting me, but I was all good. I enjoyed it. I was staying in Chawatale. I was going around, going to Acacia, and of course, I was checking out the ladies, so I was enjoying myself. But I understood one thing. Kampala wasn't no place to be playing around, joking around. It was very serious. Want to know the first thing that I noticed about Kampala everywhere I went? Gunshots! Everywhere. Not gunshots per se. Everybody had hella guns. There were military everywhere, AK-47s everywhere. Now it's normal, but an American just won't see AK-47s outside the mall. It just lets you know that if in case you want to act stupid, more gunshots, it can go down. So you're gonna do whatever they tell you here or suffer the consequences, but they will smile while doing it. Fast forward. Now that's me coming into Africa, understanding Africa's rules. But it's a little different when you're coming into America, especially when you hear that America has roads paved with gold and manna drops from the sky. And even though you're leaving your country, which is probably messed up, coming to another country to make some strange demands because you feel like you have some rights. Now remember, when I came to Uganda and decided to settle here, I knew I had the right to shut the hell up. That was the only right that I had. But these migrants are a little different, especially out in Denver. Right now, the migrants in Denver don't even want to stop living on the streets. They're not going to start living on the streets until certain demands are met. I know that you don't believe me, but check this out.
At times we're in New York City, and we are overwhelmed with illegal immigrants. Over 130,000, maybe more, have passed through. We expect about 80,000 still here. In some beautiful hotels they're now revisiting. They've destroyed soccer fields over at Randall's Island. But it's easy to forget other cities, smaller proportion, Denver leading the charge, actually have it worse than New York.
You know what? And this story is going to have you scratching your head. I think these migrants who have set up an encampment.
You mean newcomers?
Right, the migrant newcomers who set up the encampment under that bridge in Denver. I think they've been watching cable TV because they've obviously been watching the protesters at college campuses. And what do all the protesters want? They've got a list of demands. You want us to, stop protesting? We've got a list of demands. So you've got about 100 of these migrants, the newcomers. They put out a list to the mayor of 13 demands they've got to get if they wanted the city to get them out of there. And you know what? Apparently they're caving because 100 left.
Yeah, oh, gosh, look at some of these demands. Food with fresh, culturally appropriate ingredients, no pre-made meals. They want shower access without time limits, medical professional visits. You can't kick people out of housing after 30 days without something stable established. They want a free immigration lawyer. They want employment support, no more law enforcement monitoring 24/7 in the shelters, transportation for kids to and from school, just to name a few.
Right. Well, but their mayor has allowed this to happen because he's a liberal mayor who thinks to come one, come all. Now his city, which was struggling anyway, is now on its heels, and they're trying to get this eyesore and this problem out of their way. It's costing people money. It's costing people access to roads. And now they want to, in the perfect world, pack up and send them to New York.
Now, this is very similar to what was going on in New York City.
Today, hundreds of black migrants, many from African countries, showed up at City Hall demanding better treatment. They say they just want a job and basic shelter.
And Chopper 2 was overhead this afternoon, showing the large group outside City Hall just how many people this issue is impacting. The steps of City Hall also packed. CBS 2's John Diaz reports now on the changes that they're calling for.
Every migrant we spoke with has something in common. They want to work. Right now, they're trying to cut through all the red tape that's stopping them, asking local leaders to put pressure on Washington, D.C. to make a change. As as dozens rallied on the steps outside City Hall and hundreds showed up in support nearby inside the council chambers. Tears were shed for all black migrants impacted by what advocates are calling unfair treatment.
They are here to show you that they belong and that they are here and that they should not be erased. Please listen to them.
You see, immigration or migration to a country, if done legally, is good. Usually those are the migrants or immigrants that bring money into the society, they bring skills. Like when I came to Uganda, I didn't have any demands of it. I knew I was going to pay my way. I was going to have to work and get it out the mud. Nobody owed me anything. But this isn't the case for these particular migrants coming into the United States. They want it all for free and making demands. They're saying, what do you mean? If I don't get free healthcare, I'm not moving off the street. And you're begging them to do so. Please move off. They're like, no, until you give me all these things, I'm not doing anything. Imagine you trying to go to their country and doing that. They will shoot you, put you in underneath the jail. I'm telling you. And what does that create? It creates a sense of entitlement, especially for migrants. Here's what migrants typically do in the marketplace. They usually work harder to beat out the incumbent citizens of that particular country. Let me give you an example. Storytime music. I was in Johannesburg, and there was a pretty cool restaurant I went to in a part of town called Sandton. And that restaurant is called the Codfather, right? Beautiful restaurant, great food. I recommend you go there whenever you're in SA. One of the things that I noticed at the Codfather, and anybody if you've ever been there, is there are not really very many South Africans working there. Want to know who's working there? At least the last I checked, it was Zimbabweans. And don't get me wrong, not saying that South Africans don't want to work there. But I talked to the manager and he said, well, listen, Zimbabweans want to do this sort of work. For South Africans, they feel that this work is beneath them, so they don't want to wait tables and cook. That's what the guy told me. I don't know how true it is, but I did see a lot of Zimbabweans there. Imagine if Zimbabweans came to South Africa and didn't want to do any work, and they decided that they were supposed to get everything for free from South Africa. We all know how that would end up. But what's going to happen is you're not even going to get that development if more migrants start developing that mentality. They are going to come live off of the taxpayers' money and then get nothing. What is the point of that? If you're going to let migrants come into your country, they should at least be able to do something, at least contribute to the economy by working in fields that nobody wants to do. This is not the case. These people are coming over here acting as if they are more entitled as citizens. And let me tell you something. They are trying to be treated better than African Americans. The people who have worked, fought hard, done very well in America for the last, 200 years plus are going to get outcompeted by migrants who are going to get better treatment than them who just came across the border. It is a embarrassment. It is a crying shame. And I don't even know what else to tell you but that this is a joke. I mean, where is the laughter? I could never see America doing this 20, 30 years ago. They used to lock your ass up coming in illegally. But this is what's happening in the Joe Biden administration. And see, it's backfiring on them. See, a lot of these guys are going to get smart. These migrants, they look at how they are living on TikTok. They're explaining to their community what's going on. They're telling them how to get over here. So that's going to be their expectation. Their expectation is to come over here and live off of Americans' taxpayers' money and then do nothing. And then protest and say, hey, listen, we don't want to do anything. And they're going to go to certain cities. They're not going to try that stuff in Texas. They're going to go to Chicago. They're going to go to Denver. They're going to go to New York City. The places where they feel things are sanctuary is what they're going to do. And a lot of those sanctuary cities already have a lot of problems as it is. Look at Brandon Johnston. He's already begging for $1 billion after spending so much money on migrants. And again, it's going to come to a head or to a point where a lot of the things that run cities are going to be in trouble, like garbage, like public schools. All of these things are going to be in jeopardy because of people taking those resources, migrants. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shooter Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of Fair Use. I'm out.